Hello, friends. I know this must be a big surprise for you. Today is not a scheduled day for one of my episodes to be coming up. But over the past 2 days, ever since I started seeing the results of the election, I can't but help think about whatever the things that happened, both the strengths of the ruling party and in particular the Prime Minister of India, whom I admire tremendously. What were the weaknesses? And the reason why I'm putting this up is that I know he's one person who is capable of building on his strengths and working on and eradicating his weaknesses. I know this is not going to reach him, but it gives me a simple pleasure of having put this down. He's the only person I'm going to talk of because from my viewpoint and from where I sit and from what I understand, none of the others who are vying to take that position or who are the wannabes and really want to get to become the Prime Minister of India are in particular worth a mention. They lack integrity. From what I hear, the votes that they have got have been with false promises. It's not even that they've made a payment for the vote. They've promised, which naturally is not going to come through. Okay, so they got what they wanted. At the end of the day, the poor public, the suckers, so to say, which we all are not going to get anything out of it. Okay, so I don't want to really delve on that too much because it's not good to speak a lot of ill about anybody, especially when we know that they're not going to change no matter what you say. So let's look at what my thoughts are on this. I believe that the prime minister of a company, of a country, is more like the CEO of the country, and he should behave and act as one. And therefore, he needs to be a great leader. And especially when it's the prime minister of our country, Bharat, of which I am very proud. And as I already said, I'm a great fan. And I believe that if there is somebody who can really take Bharat to great heights, it is our current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. Undoubtedly, his job is the toughest in the country right now. Right now, no, it has been for the past 10 years. Because this organization that he's heading and is the CEO of has 144 direct stakeholders. I'm not talking of external stakeholders who definitely are there in plenty and who have agendas and desires of their own. But I'm talking of the 144 direct stakeholders whom he, fortunately for all of us, refers to as family members. Okay, and each of us stakeholders, all 144 crore of us, have our own individual and at different levels our expectations, our wishes, our desires, and what we would like out of this organization. So, and this is no mean task. 144 different people, trust me, each individually will have, you go out and ask what are your expectations, you'll probably end up with 144 crore combinations of expectations. And living up to this is no mean task. Okay, so knowing that the PM is our CEO, the PM should have, and does have in most cases, all the qualities that go into making a super CEO. So let us look at some of the qualities. This is things I have shortlisted. I've taken pages or pointers out of the various talks I have done over the past 4 or 5 or 6 months on various aspects. And today I'm going to focus on three aspects where I feel that there are things that are required to be corrected, revisited, etc. Not that I have authority or enough knowledge to suggest or to say that, okay, change this, but I'm just putting in my thoughts here. And we are going to look at the qualities, and we are going to specially look at, and I'm going to specifically mention those qualities which I believe that they need to be revisited or definitely corrected and redefined in some way or the other. Okay, so let's start looking at the leadership aspect before we get into branding and strategy of the PM. So as far as leadership is concerned, what are the traits? And these are all pointers that I have spoken of already. So there is nothing new I'm talking of. Okay. If I look at things in which our leader, our CEO is very, very strong and has remarkable abilities as far as these pointers are concerned, is the first is to create and lead an exceptionally talented and capable of delivery C-suite team. If you look at the ministers he has chosen, I mean, there are people who you would never have believed would become ministers. Okay, take our foreign external affairs minister, take our minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar, take Vaishnav. These people are brilliant, they're capable of delivering. And for our CEO to have identified them and accepted them as members of his C-suite team is something that speaks a lot for him. Because at the end of the day, and he knows it very well, ultimately he is the one who is responsible for the future and fate of this organization, which is our country, our Bharat. So knowing this, and he is a 24/7 Bharat and Bharat family person. I mean, there can be no doubt about that. He is a true visionary. And he is a visionary who looks beyond the horizon. We in general look at the horizon and that's where our vision stops. But our PM, Mr. Modi, looks way beyond the horizon. And it's something that is not viewable for an ordinary human being. He is unbiased, as can be seen from all the benefits he has given people. There has been no bias based on caste, based on religion. His bias is based on the economic situation of the person or the family that he is supporting. And, you know, we always say that for an organization to thrive, you need to be a level 5 leader. Okay, what are the traits of a level? They have to be exceptional at organization and have to be capable of making unparalleled organization progress. They need to achieve exceptional success. And they need to create powerful and confident teams. All three of this has been done by our Prime Minister in no mean terms. We've achieved things that India had never achieved in the last 70 years of its existence. They are passionate about their vision and about the mission of the organization. And who could be more passionate? He has demonstrated it, he has proved it, and he has executed it. The passion that he has and the mission and vision that he has for our country. He is very disciplined and focused. And he creates a culture of collaboration. Now, these are the traits that you want in your leader. And they are all there. And these are the strong traits. There are other traits that he has, which is desirable, may not be as strong as the ones that I've just listed, but All the same, they're important. He is a very, very competent executor and manager. And he has a team that is capable of doing that. Whether it is Jaishankar Sharma, whether it is Nitin Gadkari, whether it is Vaishnav, whether it is Amit Shah, all of them, they are fantastic executors capable of delivering whatever they are supposed to deliver. One should be a great listener, which from what I understand, he is. I've heard stories of how he spent time with various people who come up with ideas, whether it's a doctor. I myself have known examples where I have interacted and he has come back knowing more than what I could ever think he knew. He should be charismatic, which he is. He should be inspirational, which he is. And that is why I'm here talking. And he is smart, undoubtedly. We had a time when our Indian Prime Minister on international forums would be standing in the back row with their hands in front of them. Today, we have a Prime Minister who goes right out, who is smart enough to talk and to discuss efficiently with all of those international leaders. Okay, but there are weaknesses which are there in every human being, and they would be there in every leader. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, as I said in the beginning, I believe that Mr. Modi, Narendra ji, is very, very capable of addressing the weaknesses. And he is going to highlight his strengths, he's going to build on them, but he's going to address the weaknesses so that such a the situation doesn't arise where the weaknesses bring him down. One of the things is you need to focus on creating new leaders. While we have leaders because they are great at the job, we don't let them get to the leadership position. In fact, I would believe that there are times when we clip their wings, so to say. So we need to change that. We need to be very, very humane when it comes to communicating with everybody and not just be the boss. He is ordinary, but one needs to be also humble and easily accessible. And one most important thing that I think we need to address, he needs to address, and we all need to support him in addressing that, is to make it about we and not about me. I think that's very important. He has to be able to carry his team and make sure that his team gets this. He should be able to satisfy all the stakeholders that we just talked of. I told you in the beginning, it's a humongous task. It's nearly impossible. If you put somebody like me there, I'm going to say, boss, I give up. It's just not possible. But I can see him delivering day in and day out. I wish he continues doing that. He should give his team their due, and that too publicly specifying it. And one should not make everything about oneself. And that, I think, needs to be corrected. You have to guard your ego. You can't let it go bonkers. And you need to stay focused on your strategy. Disruptors will come. The others will come who will make an agenda and talk about things. But you stay focused. Your focus was on development, was on progress of the nation. Why do we have to get into that narrative about what the others are talking? They are ID10Ts. Let's not get there. Okay. He's a very charismatic leader. But very often, charismatic leaders will have a negative impact, mainly because of their super egos, their erratic behavior, and unfocused communication on the brand and focusing more on the self. As I said, I don't want to talk of the other contestants who think they are capable of becoming the PMs, because the basic things that are needed, honesty, integrity, consistently being fair, being truthful, being open to state their their ideology upfront. You can't wear a janoi on one day and a Muslim cap on the other and then say that I am secular. That's not secularism. So this is as far as leadership goes. As far as branding goes, I think he's been doing everything very well. Okay. But some of the things that I really believe that should be done is he needs to stay more connected with the stakeholders. I feel in this election he lost some of the touch and he started focusing on things that the stakeholders were nearly not bothered about. They were more bothered about development. They were more bothered about progress. They were more bothered about bettering their lives. They weren't bothered about the caste divide and all of that. Yes, the other party was promising things, but that's okay. I don't think the customer really wanted those things. He wanted what you have been delivering for the last 10 years. And very importantly, you have to make sure that every member of the team is in sync and delivers the same kind of message. We had members who were talking things that do not make sense, that the company or the brand was not talking of, that the leader was not talking of. And this lack of syncing of communication has been a major deterrent. There are times when I personally, I'm a very big fan of Mr. Modi, but there are times when I personally felt that what the hell is happening? And momentarily, I said, do I really need to vote for this guy if his team is talking like this? But then at the end of the day, I know that it's those team members who are creating a blunder, not my leader. Okay. And personal branding is great, but it should be based on impact, not on ego. And he has such a big footprint of impact that he doesn't need an ego to create his personal brand. And what happens is that the worst is when you personally become more of the brand than the person, a lot of challenges come up. Okay, you lose the human character. Your interactions are not consistent with your personality. You start generating negative reactions. You lose focus on the organization goals and needs. You stop analyzing competitors because you are on such a big ego, this thing. You start focusing on yourself rather than on the organization. And the ego becomes supreme. And that leads to a trust crisis. The last point I want to quickly touch upon is on strategy. While he has had a fantastic strategy, which has been very well executed, this time during the middle and the later stages of the polling, that seemed to have gone for a toss. You need a constant and validated consumer research at all times and understand their pain points, not what the other parties are talking about. Don't worry about what those guys, they are not leaders. You know, right? You have been doing right. Have what you have done in 10 years, those people have not been able to do in 50 years. Why the hell would you listen to them? And do not set unrealistic expectations. I know it was a war cry for your team, but at the end of the day, more people, even from your team, believe that are 400 aa raha hai, I don't need to worry. So don't set unrealistic expectations. Recognize and plan the dependencies of all stakeholders. Very important. Okay. And a strategy cannot be built by just top leaders sitting in a room and talking, just the C-suite there. No. You need to have ground level influence. You need to know what your workers are thinking. And I've heard cases, I don't know how far they are true, but where the workers did not want or did not approve of a candidate, but yet that candidate was chosen. So you need to understand what your customers want, what the 144 crore people thought. All the washing machine, this, that, things that happened at the end of the day would affect your brand. Because your brand was all about integrity. It was all about honesty. It was all about being corruption free. And then when people whom you have yourself also declared as being full of corruption accepted them into your organization, your brand value definitely diminishes. As I said, I'm a big fan of Mr. Modi. And this talk is not meant to be detrimental in any way whatsoever. I can tell you with utmost guarantee that you do not have anybody from all the other potential leaders who are thinking that they are capable of becoming prime ministers who would even come close to being 5% of what Mr. Modi is. It is he alone who can take India to the heights that we deserve, which we once had, and which was destroyed by all the invaders that came into India. So if you like this and if you have comments, please do send it to me. Thank you for listening to this extra episode. You shall tomorrow hear my regular episode. Thank you and have a great day.